Phil Perry, NBC Sports Boston. Hi, Phil. Oh, hold on.
I hit the button.
There you go.
Hit the button. Button works.
Hit the button. How's the week
My
been
brain,
for you, Phil Perry?
Not so much. It's been busy. It's been good. Had some good conversations, as I'm sure you guys have as well. And I'm loving New Orleans. I've never been down here before, so this is a new experience for me.
Yeah, you talked about
remarkable that a man as well-traveled as Phil Perry has not been here yet.
I know. Francophile, too, so a lot of good French influence down here. And I'm happy to be here.
You got a bunch of Super Bowls under your belt now. Like this city's built for it, man. See,
this is
what we were talking about.
Already, what day is it? Tuesday. This is already one of my favorite Super Bowl cities. Have you guys ranked those?
This is number one. This is always number one on the list.
Yeah, this might be number one by the end of the week.
Always number one on the list.
Yeah,
I'm a loser though because I put Indy like in my top 3 just because I love.
Oh no, walkability, but they lucked out. They lucked out with the weather that year. If it was dismal and cold, I don't think people would put Indy as high as they would.
It was pretty cold at times.
It was in the 50s though.
I remember being just frozen, taking a rickshaw. Is that what you call those things? Got on a bicycle while you're sitting on a bench. I was on one of those with Tommy Curran driving back to the hotel in Indianapolis. Did you really?
I took one last night from Bourbon Street. I'm like, I'm not walking back. My feet
guys, a rickshaw is where the guy actually is walking while pulling the cart.
What's the bike version?
Same thing.
I don't know what it's called, but it's
a caddy or I don't know.
Is it a
Beatle's gonna look it up now? I think it's still a rickshaw.
I had to get off.
Is that right?
I had to get off the cart though, because like me and my wife were on it. Like she was trying to suck wind a little bit, so like I got off to help push the thing.
I was going to say you're pushing the cart.
Wait! They made you push?
The problem is there's no hills here. Like you can't go downhill. She was like, going uphill. I'm like, come on.
Oh, you were propelling yourselves?
Oh, we were just sitting there.
You're not pedaling. Yeah.
She was doing the pedaling.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be designed for that kind of thing where it's more of a romantic experience, whereas you have
there's no
Tom Curran and myself.
Just get me back to the hotel.
It looks like they call them rickshaw bikes.
There you go.
So it is a rickshaw.
All right.
A rickshaw bike.
Good.
I'm glad we figured that out.
I am as well.
Anything else you guys want to talk about today?
No.
That was pretty much
it. That was it.
Good.
Thanks for coming by, Phil.
Had a good time.
Appreciate it. How about the idea of trading for Myles Garrett if you're the New England Patriots?
Yeah, I love it. Depending on how much it costs, obviously, right? Like yesterday when the news first broke, talking to a handful of people over here behind us that know and study the league, and hey, I'm saying if you could trade the number 4 overall pick for Myles Garrett, would you do it? And me personally, I would. I don't know. I would.
4?
At number 4. If Abdul Carter's gone, if Travis Hunter is gone in the top 3 picks, and even if one of those guys is still available, there's nobody in this draft that's going to be Myles Garrett. There's
not like that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
There's probably nobody in the next 5 drafts that's going to be
You're probably right.
Myles Garrett. Now, the problem is if you start talking about a second first-round pick, which I heard Albert Breer talking about on the morning show today, Toucher and Hardy, 2 first-round picks, okay. If you're the New England Patriots and you do need good young talent and you want to try to build through the draft, you're probably not spending 2 first-round picks. But I would seriously consider sending the 4th overall pick for Myles Garrett and then pay him. He's an absolute freak. He'd completely change not only your defense but your entire team because you would suddenly, just with that guy alone, you'd probably vault up into at least a middle-tier defense, if not a little bit better, factoring in what you hope to be coaching improvements on that side of the ball and some personnel improvements on that side of the ball, guys getting healthier, being more available. I'm thinking about the safety position in particular. And so you add a player like that, it changes your entire franchise. The questions would be, how much do you have to give up? And is he still good when the rest of your roster is good? Meaning 3 years from now, what does he look like? Because we don't know. He's dealt with a little bit of injury here and there, and you just don't know wear and tear.
Can he give you what Judon gave you?
Oh my God, he's so much better than Judon.
No, I know. But I'm saying like 3 years from now, the best Judon gave you, can he be what Judon was?
I would hope so.
Yeah,
I think Judon was fine. He was not a great player when he was here, even in the 2021 season when he racked up some big sack numbers.
Yeah. I would say he projects and profiles as a guy who will be good to a later age.
You think so?
Yeah, I just feel like he is.
His body's built that
just
way.
A specimen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Peppers, Julius Peppers was
Willie
like
McGinnis
that size.
Played to what age? What age was he in Cleveland?
That's a good
one.
And he wasn't Willie McGinnis to 6 years prior, but he was still a guy who
he played until he was 36
he
or
could
something
still
like
play.
that. Yeah, he was in great shape.
James Harrison played until what age? I bring him up because I saw him last night.
Oh, yeah?
He still likes to kill people.
Did he ask you to put lotion on you?
No,
anywhere?
not Chris Price.
37.
Nope. Okay, he was 30.
Played until he was 37.
So there are guys at that position that, if they fit a certain sort of profile, I feel like, can do it. He strikes me as a guy who could play to a later age.
That's a great point. It's funny. I guess I'm just a pessimist by nature because I look at a guy like that and I'm like, he is so big. He is cartoonishly large.
Yeah.
That like how well do his joints hold up over time with that kind of size on his frame? But you're probably right. I mean, he's like the closest thing we have now to Julius Peppers in the league. He is that level of freaky, and I don't think we've even really been able to appreciate it because he's been on such a bad team for so long. And that's the other hurdle that you'd have to clear, right? He doesn't want to go to a rebuilding team. You just have to sell him on the fact that you're going to get there sooner than he thinks. Like, we've got Mike Vrabel. We've got a good young quarterback. We have all this stuff to be able to build our team in terms of cap dollars and draft picks, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to be good before you think we're going to be good. And so that's why you should want to come here, Myles Garrett. And the Browns, I think they would be interested in talking to the Patriots because who's going to have a much better pick than this year's 4th overall that's going to be willing to trade for him? The Browns are one of the few teams that has a better pick than the Patriots, so I think you're doing okay there.
So you and I have talked about Micah Parsons. Would you give up 4 for Micah Parsons? We both say yes.
Yeah.
Would you do it for Myles Garrett?
I would. He's a little older, so I get that if you're concerned there, but I don't look at anybody in this draft and say, well, how could you possibly bypass the opportunity to take player X and give that up just for Myles Garrett? There's nobody in this draft that profiles similarly to him. Abdul Carter is not going to be Myles Garrett. Abdul Carter, you're hoping might get somewhere close to a Micah Parsons eventually, but he's not that guy, and you're projecting. He's played 1 year on the edge at Penn State. He's a lighter guy. I don't think he's going to come into the league as a 3-down player the way Myles Garrett did. We just had Steve Palazzolo on. I don't know if he talked to you guys
he's
here yet today.
He's coming up later today.
He had a good list of freaky top of the first round edge defenders, and he rattled off 5 or 6 between Will Anderson and the Bosas and Chase Young and guys that were taken in the first couple of picks in their drafts. And he said he gave us 6 or 7 names, and he said Abdul Carter's not in that class. He's just not one of those slam dunk guys the way these other guys were slam dunk guys. And those guys were, you drafted them, 3-down guys. They were out there on the field all the time, and they were game wreckers. Carter, there's just more projection there, and it's just another indication as to what this draft is, which is not great. If that's a guy that you're talking about as being the number 1 overall player in this class, and he's a projection to a degree, it's not what you're looking for if you're in the top 5 like the Patriots are. I'm
warming up to it, guys. I would do it.
Would you do it for 2 first-rounders?
No, I'd do it for the 4th.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, I think
I'd do it for the 4th overall.
It's tough because there have been players that are game-changing players that are not quarterbacks who have gone for 2 first-round picks before. Like, to me,
do you
Myles
think he's
Garrett,
going to get it? I feel like it's one of those 1 and a 2 deals. Give us a 1 and a 2. Give us a 1 and give us next year's 2.
The problem is, Cleveland loses some leverage because the guy's taken this public now, and it really feels like he's not going to play for that.
I know.
Again.
He did that on purpose. He wants out of there.
You might be right. You might be right. Maybe it is just a 1 and a 2. But to me, he's like Tyreek Hill level impact on a game. And that was a guy with 1 year left on his deal. You knew you had to pay him, and you knew you had to give up 2 first-round picks. And the Chiefs got it. And so my guess is something similar is going to happen here with Garrett.
What about Cooper Kupp?
I love it. I like it for the Patriots, and I know this sounds like fantasy football now. Yeah, give me Garrett, give me Cooper Kupp. Let's trade for everybody who's available.
That's how you repair things.
But listen, I think there's a good comp there with, and he's better than this player, but Adam Thielen has been a really usable, important player to the young roster that they have there in Carolina. And obviously Carolina isn't where they're hoping to be just yet. But in terms of having that security blanket kind of player who's a pro, who's going to not only impact the quarterbacks, though, but impact the rest of the receivers in that room and maybe elevate their overall level of professionalism, that to me is a ton of value. And you're not talking about near the level of trade compensation as you would be with Myles Garrett. Like, if it costs a 3rd-round pick for this year, would you give it up for Cooper Kupp?
Yes, absolutely.
I would too.
Yes.
And you're paying him, though. I think he's $19 million, whatever, $20 million.
Oh.
But, listen, I would do it. If it prevents you from going after a T. Higgins, would you do it if it prevented you from going after a T. Higgins because of the money involved?
Well, that's a difficult question.
Well, that's why I asked it.
I'm going to tell you why. It does not prevent you from going after T. Higgins, but I also don't believe in their ability to land T. Higgins. I don't think they're getting T. Higgins. I want them to pursue him. I want them to put everything they can into pursuing him, but I don't think they will ultimately win that sweepstakes. So
Because they're not going to offer him the most?
no, because he's going to turn them down.
Yes.
Even if they do
I don't
offer
think he's
the most.
coming here. I don't think he's a fit. I mean, I
think they
don't.
should offer him the most.
Yeah.
They should blow him away. They should
should
offer
be
a
in
lot
on him,
more
though.
than the next team. They have no excuse not to. I want them to do that.
I expect them to be in on him. I don't expect him to come here.
And I think he'll turn him down. He'll have something
It'll be
better.
interesting because they have the most money to spend, and they have the ability to pay him like a top 5. He's not a top 5 receiver, but they could pay him like one.
Yep.
They could pay him $30+ million a year if they really wanted to, if they felt like he was that guy.
And then 2 years into the deal, he will not be in the top 10 anymore, and it'll look relatively simple.
So would you rather
the
have
money will look a lot better in 2 years'
That's
time.
another argument for them being willing to blow him out of the water.
Yeah.
Would you rather overpay for T. Higgins or trade for Cooper Kupp, though?
Oh, overpay for T. Higgins every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think they're ultimately going to do it. I don't think they're going to land him even if they offer the most. If they offer him $1 million more a year than the next
The
team.
Brandon Ayuk thing, yeah.
Yeah, he's turning them down the same way Ayuk turned them down. But I have no issue with them going after Kupp and paying him $19 million a year. I'm in favor of that.
I would be too. I wonder if this front office, if this regime is going to be thinking about these things the way we're thinking about them, which is what can you give Drake May in terms of giving him what he needs to be able to make that second-year leap. And you're already doing it on the coaching staff, in my opinion. Josh McDaniels is the best coach for him right now to get the most out of him. I think Mike Vrabel's looking at the lines of scrimmage. He's looking at the defensive line. He's looking at the offensive line, and he's saying that's where we're going to focus our resources.
So
and so Cooper Kupp might be available.
Call it a day.
He's going to or Will Campbell or Will Campbell and another defensive lineman in the second round. It's a deep class. It's a deep class on the edge and a defensive tackle.
Guys, Beetle.
I really think that's how he's. Listen, are we not at the point yet with Mike Vrabel where we don't realize he is a version of Bill Belichick? Mm-hmm. That's what he is.
At his core.
That's his background. That's what he believes in. And so for people who, and I know he loved A.J. Brown. He didn't want to get rid of A.J. Brown, and like maybe that's something Bill never would have done or never would have felt. But Mike Vrabel's an old school football mind. And so I think we got to wrap our minds around this, is that they're going to spend on maybe 3 or 4 potential starters on the offensive line. They're probably going to tell T. Higgins to kick rocks because they're not spending $120 million on a wide receiver. And they're going to roll with maybe a couple of minor improvements with young receiver pieces, but they're going to really feel like they want to build through the trenches.
Is that going to lead to a disagreement between Elliott Wolf and Mike Vrabel? Because we saw what Elliott Wolf tried to do last offseason. He tried to sign Calvin Ridley, tried to pull off a trade for Brandon Ayuk, and the Chiefs' whole entourage walked by again.
There we go again.
Go Chiefs.
They're spending a lot of time on Radio Row.
They were.
For hours.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know. You'd think they'd be sick of it by now.
I think they're finally leaving.
Okay.
Disagreement, knowing what Elliott tried to do last offseason, and Mike Vrabel saying, we're not doing that. We're not going after big, high-priced wide receivers. We're not weaponizing the offense. We're looking for effort and finish.
Blue collar, baby.
Yeah.
I don't think so, because I think Elliott Wolf is understanding of his position and understanding that his job is to serve the people who are putting the football players on the football field. So what do you want? What do you need? You tell me. I'll try and find the best guys.
I want to follow that
I'll be the point person.
with another thought about receivers, because you bring up this point that he's just another version of Bill Belichick. So does that mean we're going to be watching, Riche Caldwell out there next season again? Things of that nature.
I don't think he's going to be playing.
Well, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
Phil.
no,
You
I
understand what I'm trying to say.
I got you.
We have more to come from Radio Row. The Big Fish, by the way, is doing Zoom interviews with national shows.
Huh.
Yep.
From his hotel room.
From his hotel room, I
F
guess.
that.
Is that where he is?
You take your Zoom and shove it.
In a hotel room here in New Orleans.
So it was never even in the ocean.
COVID's over.
We were told he was
Get
in the
rid of the
ocean.
Zoom.
We were told
COVID's over.
that he was being picked up on that radar, where you find the fish with the radar.
Yeah.
No.
Nope. Turns out he's down the street in his hotel room talking to Kay Adams on Zoom.
Hey, but I think we still might be able to find him.
Where do
I'm
you
not
find
giving
that
up
show?
hope.
Online? That's not on TV, right?
That's a good question.
Case show?
Yeah.
Up in Adams?
Yeah.
That's an online program.
Online program.
Yeah. Internet.
All right.
Wireless.
You know how the kids say about that.
Ethernet.
It's all
However you do it.
It's all on the internet.
Dial up.
That's where the money is, Phil. That's what they tell me. All the money's on the internet.
How do you
now.
advertise?
I don't know. I see your videos online all the time.
Well,
Hopefully you guys
are popular station
recouping.
Hey, we're number one in the
Something
country
from there.
again, Phil. I
Yeah.
don't know if you saw that
Hey.
today. Number one.
Yeah.
We're number
Congratulations. Deservedly so.
Hey, if you like that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand right here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.